What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Yesterday, Gunner and I were having a conversation. And it's my understanding we're both going to put out a video about that conversation. That conversation happened to be about Samoans. And I'm going to keep it real with you, man. We were laughing about it. We're having a good conversation about it. So, first off, shout out to all the Usos out there. And for the Tongans, the only reason why you're not mentioned is because I didn't run into very many Tongans. But I'm sure that it's probably the same sentiment towards them, right? So let me get to it. Gunner and I were talking about YA and, different things. And as we're talking, he starts saying something, and then I started thinking about something. And thinking. And I started laughing. I said, hey, you know what, man? You know what I just realized? He said, what? And keep in mind, for those of you that don't know, YA, you're constantly fighting, man. That's just a part of the program. You're going to be fighting a lot in there, right? And I told him, I'm thinking about it. And I remember several Samoans. I never once saw anybody fight a Samoan. Shout out to the SOSs. All of the ones I met were from SOS. I think Long Beach and San Jose, I think were the two areas they were from, right? And I know for a fact they had to have some enemies there, but there were no there were no takers. Nobody was trying to get down with the Samoan. The biggest dude I ever met in my life was a Samoan. His name was Thor. I believe he was from SOS in San Jose, if I remember right. This dude, I've told a story about him before. I remember when he got to the unit, when he got to our compa, I remember seeing how humongous this dude was. His fucking thighs were bigger than most of our bodies, right? I remember seeing how big this giant was and telling the homies, if we ever have a fucking riot, we're done. Like, every one of us has to jump on that guy. And you know what? Every fucking Samoan that I've ever met has been the most humble and respectful dude. That dude, Thor, as humongous as he was, compared to every other human being around him, very soft-spoken, hey, excuse me, can I get through here? Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Like, that dude was a giant, man. Shout out to Thor. I think when I mentioned his story, somebody told me he had passed away. Hopefully that's not true. But anybody that ever met Thor, when I say he was humongous, that's no lie. I'm going to tell you guys a quick little story. I remember it was probably like 1988. I got in a fight. And I broke my hand, right? Broke my right hand. Boxer break, on the last two knuckles. And I had to go to the doctor, right? To get my hand checked out. And the doctor was a Mexicano, kind of young. And they x-rayed my hand, and he comes back, and he's like, yeah, it's broken in a couple places. He goes, did you get in a fight with a fucking Samoan? I had never even met a Samoan. In 1980, I had never met a Samoan in my life, right? I was like, no. He said, well, let me tell you something. Don't ever fight a Samoan. He goes, they got the hardest damn heads in the world. The reputation of Samoans, if you tangle with them, man, why aren't there more of them in boxing? Look at what Tua did when he was in there. But anyways, I also remember a story, and I told this story. We're in Boston, YA, right? And An incident happened, and three of the homies jumped a black dude. He was a Crip, and we were on a soccer. We were playing soccer, and he got an exchange of words with a homie from TMC, from the East Side TMC, and instead of getting down on the spot, which he should have, and it would have been, he called the homie out, and the homie was a lot smaller than him, and he didn't see that when he started woofing. Two homies headed to the bleachers. And the Crip said, hey, man, let's go behind the bleachers. Well, there was already two waiting on him. And so when he went back there, three dudes jumped him, right? We get back to the unit. And, the blacks start congregating. The Crips and Bloods start talking. And I remember I was, and I'll say his name, man. He was a good dude. Hopefully he's still around, man. Snoop from Pueblos. I think he had a big old teardrop right here. He had a big tattoo right here. Snoop from Pueblos approaches me and he's like, hey, come on, man. He goes, that thing that just happened, he goes, we can't let that slide, right? I said, no, I hear you, Holmes. I said, what do you want to do it in the dorm or like where you want to do this at? Because obviously there's going to be a riot now because of it. And that's why he was approaching me, respectfully letting me know, like, hey, we're gonna have to get down over this. So I said, you want to do this on the dorm? Now that was the only dorm where the raza outnumbered the blacks. And Snoop was no dummy. Snoop said, nah, it happened on the soccer movement. We're going to do the next movement. We're going to go to the soccer field and we're going to get down there. Very smart, because only a limited amount of people can go on a movement because there's only going to be one cop doing the escort. So I believe it's only 20 dudes that can go, right? So I go and I tell the homies, hey, check this out. They got at me. So the next movement, I'm gonna need you guys to sign up, and we're going. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get off. So the day of the next movement, then I already told this video. So those of you guys that saw it, my bad. But for those that didn't, I had to tell the story again. They open up the doors to the compa to the building, and you go out there and you have to line up a row, 4 people, and then however many back, right? And so everybody's going out there. But I see some hesitation in some of the raza. And I'm on them. I'm like, hey, what the fuck, Holmes? Get out there. Oh, hey, Holmes, this and that. And I was like, all right, pussy. So I go out there. I'm one of the last ones to go out there. I go out there. I see everybody lined up. But I see one spot isn't filled. And I look, and I'm looking around like, what the fuck? And then I saw why. There was a big-ass Samoan by the name of Paul Poo. Shout out to Paul Poo. Again, hopefully you're still around. Hopefully you're doing good, homie. Paul Poo was right there. So I said to myself, that's an ass whooping I'm willing to take. For people to say, hey, this fool actually rushed Paul Poo, I'm willing to, hey, whatever happens, happens. But let me at least get one punch in. So I go and I line up right there next to Paul Poo. And as soon as I line up, he looks to see, like, who did this? And I looked at him, and he looked at me. He looked at me like, I respect that. And I looked at him like, fuck, it is what it is, right? And luckily, I'm a southpaw, right? Luckily, he was on my right-hand side, so I was like, I know I'm not going to knock this big-ass dude out. But at least he's on the perfect side for me, right? The cops did their count, radioed in the number, and then told us, move out. Bam. We hit the street. Boom. There we go. We turn left. We're walking. Right where Moro's at. Those of you that been to Paso know. We get to where Moro's at. From there, we're going to have to make another left turn. And at the end of that street is the football field, soccer field, baseball diamond, all that shit, right? Right when we got to Moro, hey, Holmes, that countdown is begun. Right when we get to Moro, God blessed me. Hey, God seriously blessed me. Out of nowhere, a fucking rainstorm just boom hits hard as hell. The staff says, I'm not standing in this fucking rain. Turn around and take it back. When he said that, everybody kind of like squared off. Like it was not for the raza to kick that one off. The incident was because of something that the raza did. So everybody kind of looked at each other like, and I'm looking at Poo Poo like, but it's not the Samoans team. They're gonna back the blacks up, right? And we looked at each other and they were just like, man, fuck this shit. I know I had a sigh of relief. But anyways, man, that is no lie. The respect that people had for the hands and the toughness of Samoans in YA, everybody got down. Everybody. And I'm sure there were dudes that fought Samoans. I just never saw it. And the years I was in Paso and when I was in TS, I never heard of anybody getting down with a Samoan. Not once. Prison is different because for the most part, the Samoans run with the others. And they don't get into a lot of stuff. When they have, from what I was able to witness, it was Southerners, but the Southerners get into it with everybody at some point. I also told the story about the two Samoans, C-Nut and Pineapple. Vicious, man. Both of them had hurt Southerners. C-Nut, he was doing it in Corcoran's shoe back in the Gladiator War. Pineapple did it in High Desert at Seg. When High Desert first opened, they integrated the Ad Seg yard, so every time people went out, it was on. It was on. Once a rival group hit the yard, boom, it's going down. And Pineapple hurt a lot of Southerners. The difference was C-Nut was defending himself and hurting people in the process because he just had those hands. Pineapple was knocking dudes out and then slapping them when they were on the ground and spitting on them. And so the disrespect is the reason why C-Nut was able to clear it up once he hit Pelican Bay shoe. I was on the yard with C-Nut, his brother Rock, and Pineapple, I believe, was their cousin. And Pineapple got whacked. The Southerners, two homies from Orange County, jumped on him. And before anybody says anything, there's cameras on the yard. They got caught. There was no way they were going to not stay on that dude. Pineapple was a very dangerous dude. But those are the only incidents that I remember specifically with Samoans. Every Samoan that I ever met, like I said, very fucking respectful, soft-spoken, and a damn giant. The only one that wasn't a giant, I gotta bring you up. Hopefully you're still around. Mulio'o. Mulio'o was in the same dorm with me in Paso. Slept on the bunk right across from me and was barely taller than me. I was like, fool, what are you, like 6, 7 years old? Like, there's no way there's no way you're any older than that. He used to be like, man, that's cold. Poo Poo used to laugh because I used to tell him, hey, man, get your grandson, homie. This dude is not grown whatsoever. Because I know he's going to be about 8 feet tall when he gets to the right age. Anyways, man, that's my video for today. It was a lighthearted one. Shout out to all the Usos. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.